Just a quick video. My throat's feeling so much better. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I have to keep clearing my throat still, but I had since January a really bad. I get tonsillitis quite, often ever since I was young, and it just swells up at the back of my throat, and it just changes how I can breathe and speak and everything. And I've had a couple of days where my tonsils haven't been inflamed, so I'm wondering what it is I'm doing right. But I had a quick, I had a chat with, it was a lady there over in the National Wall, and she just put a post up, and she's a nationalist, and her information was excellent. But her conclusion is to blame Westminster, and this was where I had to start. When I initially supported the idea of self-determination, you ask questions of people, don't you, in the SNP, or the people that are trying to sell you the idea. And there's so many questions that I asked that just did not make any sense. Well, it's the way that the questions were dealt with. First thing that I realised was it was the same thing that was creeping into the Labour leadership in the 90s. Don't question us. Right? Whereas before, there was an openness to criticism and questioning. I suppose that comes from humility. I don't know. I'm not an expert on humility. But I do humble pie like everybody else when you have to. I'm just one of the people. I don't like holding grudges and ongoing conflicts about stupid petty things, But if there's an ongoing conflict for a very good reason, then obviously. But I'm meandering again, right? I've got a quick question. If the Scottish Government, the SNP, do not have any devolved powers over energy, I'm just asking a question because I'm confused and I just want somebody to enlighten me. Then why would there have been 200 meetings with fossil fuel companies under Nicola Sturgeon? That's just a quick question. So it's Friends of the Earth. They analysed the Scottish Government's lobbying register, as well as ministerial diaries, to establish the extent of lobbying from fossil fuel firms over a period of just over 4 years. The campaign group have raised concerns over the amount of influence the industry has. So I'm wondering why they're lobbying a government that hasn't got any powers. Can any nationalists answer this question? Or anybody? Because, I'm not coming to any conclusions, I'm asking questions. So, they're saying about the influence the industry has. Yeah. And the subsequent impact on the Scottish Government's climate commitments. So, as well as the lack of opposition to Rosebank oil and gas field located west of Shetland. You didn't think the SNP were committed to green values, did you? I'm sorry, you didn't think the SNP were different to all the other politicians, did you? Oil lobbyists met with ministers while they were preparing the Climate Change Act in 2019. In the run-up to COP and ahead of the recently published Energy Strategy and Just Transition Plan, the research found called on First Minister Hamza Yusuf to end the open door policy for the lobby touted by his predecessor Sturgeon following the findings. So they're coming at it from an environmental point of view, and we're coming at it from what's going on with our resources and who's got say over what and why they're being lobbied. And, you know, it's bizarre. "212 recorded meetings between 2018 and 2022. Ivan McKee, Richard Lockhead, okay, Ivan McKee, Katie Forbes, yes indeed, which is why I've never trusted the Wee Frees, the church, and the whole SNP Wee Free thing. Sorry if that is I like Katie as a person, but I just think that people that bring their religion into politics, I think there needs to be a clear separation, and that's what's definitely put me off that and our involvement with these companies. Open door policy towards the fossil fuel industry. So how can she have an open door policy if energy and such is devolved? And, you know, if I'm making a fool of myself here, I don't mind for the sake of learning something, right? I'm asking a question. Church suggested the true scale of fossil fuel lobby's meetings with the ministers were likely even greater than what was discovered. So there's, you know, an allegation there. Their over-reliance on speculative technologies that are designed to prolong the life of oil and gas show the industry's lobbying machine. Right, so if the seabed there is owned by the UK, which this is what we're told, because apparently it was bought by the Crown, am I right? No, when it comes to the North Sea. We were given the money by an American company, is that right? When we first drilled for oil. It's really interesting when you read how Saudi Arabia first drilled for oil with America as well. I mean, it's not an area of research that I would have been involved in. Excuse me, I'm having some brunch. It's a late breakfast. Being in the family years ago, I was made aware of the importance of certain lobbies within Washington when it comes to oil. And obviously it's very linked up to a lot of and the church, you know, the dominionist thinking of the family, you know, it's to do with we get religions battling out for land again. You know, this is what it is. Choose your side, I think, is what's happening here. There's too much skullduggery, obfuscation and confusion around about exactly what kind of powers the SNP have, and why this kind of lobbying, why would they waste all that time So they're lobbying on climate and energy, that's how they're getting through the door. So this is a definite, politically biased article, sort of perpetuating this false gospel. It's another religion, like this, latest ideology that was bypassing safeguarding and children and women's rights laws. We have to look at what's actually going on here. Under the guise of the green, it's the green, the green banner is, laundering, pardon me, a lot of dodgy doings with the energy. Our resources. Who owns our resources? Well, the SNP just enabled the UK to keep doing what they were doing, and then they sold the seabed off to the Crown, which was when I just realised that this was a load of shit. So in 2022, now this is done under the guise of an offshore wind farm, but I bet you that will never materialise. The point is here that the seabed has been sold off. Now, it says it was the Scottish Government. The Scottish people, whether we're nationalists for Scottish nationalists, whether you're a unionist, whether you're a Lib Dem, whether you're on the political fence, whether you're undecided, whatever you are, we should all have a common goal in asking about the fair distribution of our resources and how, we want to see facts and figures, and we really don't want to see any suffering or lack. I don't want to have any Scottish people cold, for instance. Well, we're oil rich. This is where the SNP managed to capture a lot of people, is because, Sturgeonman, the Harvestman. Sorry, I get absolutely distracted there with the moons. This mob are tuned to the moon. Projects are worth nearly 700 million, right? So how can you sell our actual geographical seabed? Who did it belong to in order for you to sell it? I think we should sue these people.